out of the House of Representatives. And he's got to make that point over and over again. But it was very clear these are bread and butter issues. And I can't think of anyone better than Joe Biden who understands the working class people. And I think he will appeal to the people in Miami-Dade in particular. Florida is a bigger lift, but the contrast with someone that's trying to keep themselves out of jail and demonizing immigrants, his comments yesterday were outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that because Alfonso, the gentleman that was part of our conversation, mentioned specifically that Trump shouldn't demonize people, shouldn't demonize immigrants. And, as Donna, you're saying, just last night, Trump once again used this dehumanizing language about migrants, said that the president was creating a border bloodbath. How is that having an impact, or is it, do you think, Tim, having an impact on the people that aren't already determined to vote for Trump one way or another?
Yeah, so I think that there's one thing that's clear to me. I think a lot of times Democrats look at this and say, oh, that language is really going to hurt with Hispanic voters and black voters. And I don't know, you know, you see in those focus groups, Hispanic and black voters aren't a monolith. They all have various interests and various concerns. I think the one place where it clearly has hurt Donald Trump is with the suburban voters where he's bleeding, suburban voters of all races, college-educated, voters with kids. They don't like him. The way that he is as a role model, his bad character, his bigotry, that has really hurt Donald Trump and is going to continue to cause him to bleed votes among college-educated suburban voters. That's not really his problem in Florida. As far as how do you get to the more working-class voters where Democrats used to be strong and have lost some altitude, and I think that clearly his dehumanizing language doesn't particularly help with that vote, but that's not going to be enough. That's not going to be determinative. We heard in that focus group that people are going to need some more substantive, a substantive contrast from Joe Biden on economic issues and abortion and other issues as well.
I mean, Donna, on the abortion issue, the Biden campaign says that they think that Florida may be winnable because, among other things, of the state's abortion ballot measure this November. What do you see as that having a role in the decision one way or another out of Florida?
Well, I would say two things. Number one, it's not only abortion's going to be on the ballot. And by the way, it's a very carefully worded ballot amendment. It retains, for instance, the legislative language on a notification of parents or guardians for minors. It starts by saying that there really should not be any government interference in a woman's right for her own health care. So I think that it will attract more voters from both parties and independents. But also marijuana is going to be on the ballot. That may turn out younger voters. But still, Joe Biden needs to make his case as clearly as he possibly can about improving the economy, about providing opportunity, about dealing with student loans so that people see the kind of kitchen table issues as things that he cares about and he's trying to do something about. So I think it helps. But all of us who are leading those efforts, the efforts in particular for a woman's reproductive health, want to make sure that we have a broad appeal to voters in Florida. And of course, you know, 5 of the women's health centers, of the 12 women's health centers in Miami-Dade County, are in Hialeah. That tells you something about the broad-based support for this particular issue. Apparently, Donald Trump's going to say something about abortion next week. We see it as a women's health issue that's much broader.
Donna, Shalala, and Tim Miller, thank you both so very much. Let's meet up again soon in Little Havana together. I think it's a good plan. Have a cafecito or more.
Okay, but let's go to Hialeah, too.
Hialeah, absolutely. La ciudad que progresa. Thank you. Up next, how